Hi, and welcome to this Nanobench tutorial video number 3. And now finally, we're going to be able to work with Nanobench and see what it can do. So that's what it looks like when we start, right? We have set up our profile, so it recognizes me. And just to quickly show it again, when you click on here, it also has a local public key that we will be using now when we publish Nanopublications. We can go here first to my channel. That shows the Nanopublications that I have published. You can see them here in a chronological way. So new Nanopublications will pop up at the top. If you want to make it a bit more focused, maybe you can hide the provenance, or you can also show the pub info, whatever you prefer. When you click on one of these things, oh no, I'm going to show this just in a second. Actually, I first want to show you here, when you click on users, you're going to see the same, but for other people. And at the top, you have approved users, and then further down, you have other users. Well, don't read too much into that, but this is kind of just a starting point to have a way to figure out who is a legitimate user and who is maybe just a test account, or maybe somebody who kind of spams the system. So to be prepared for that. The approved users basically just come from a fixed list of kind of a core approved users and whoever they approve themselves. So you can also approve other users, which only means this is kind of a legitimate user. So that person actually exists and is kind of well-intentioned. That's all it means. We're not going to go into that too much because, as I said, that's still preliminary. But we can now click on any of these names and we see a feed similar to the one I've just shown you before. So here, for example, that person has published something that is a response to a review comment. Now, on all of these here, these items, or in general, you see the Nanopublication looks quite similar to what I've shown before. A little bit different because now these things can be clicked on in a way that's inside Nanobench, and it has a kind of a tooltip showing up that shows the full URL. So there's a little bit different, but you can click on it. And then for most of the terms, you then see kind of an overview, how often it has been used and how, and it gives you a list of Nanopublications again, now in a tabular view that shows you all the Nanopublications that mention it. So what I want to actually focus on, though, is what you can otherwise do with this Nanopublication here. Namely, you can also click here on the short version of the identifier that you see here just above. And then you get a similar page, but now focusing on the Nanopublication, showing it in its entirety. And also when you click on this link here, that's maybe not super obvious, then you get directed out of Nanobench to the place where this is published on the network, right? So we're now here again on np.petapica.org that we looked at in the first video. So just if you want to go back to the code, or maybe even copy it out and give it to a tool, you can do it like that. Now, the next tab that you have up here is search. That's a simple full text search. For example, if a search, I don't know, this is search before IRX3, I think it's a protein or gene, and you can then search. It's not terribly fast because the services that this is using, so again, this is using all the services from the server network. They're not yet optimized for such a full text search, and they only index the things in the literals, so not any parts of URLs. But still, this can be useful to find Nanopublications. And then lastly, and that's the most interesting part, there is this publish tab. When you first click on it, it might take a while to just load all these templates because all the information you're seeing, again, it gets from the server network. So these are templates that show you that map to forms that you can use to fill in to publish Nanopublications. You have a number of topics here. I will just go down and pick one. For example, here, defining a new individual. You can click on that and it looks like this. So what you could do here, I'll not publish this one, but I can just show you in case you have some individual, you can give it here a short a short suffix. Then we can select the URI of the class. We could just say thing, but maybe you want to say something different, like video. If a thing is a video, we can just type, and it does some autocomplete. It connects again to the server network, but also to Wikidata. So we can select here this Wikidata concept. And we could say it is the XYZ video. So I'm not going to publish this actually. So this is just a silly example. And the only XYZ video that exists. And then you could provide a further, this one is optional, as you see. You can provide a further link with more information. Now, whatever it is here, right, and depending on what you select on the previous page, you're going to get a different form here. You can add the provenance. So the default is that it's just attributing the assertion, so the blue part, to you. But you can also say it to somebody else, and then you could put the ORCID of the person. So here there's no autocomplete yet. So here you just have to paste the ORCID in, or the final part of the ORCID URL, actually. You could say it was derived from an existing entity. You can hover over here. So this is using prof, the prof ontology. Or you could say, you could just add custom triples. We want to say subject, predicate, object. So you can paste in there whatever RDF you want. And there are some more. So, but often in what we're going to do, it's just going to be attributed to yourself. And then in publication info, again, it also says the whole nanopublication was also created by you, right? You could have the situation where you recorded facts or statements in blue that came from somebody else. So you make the nanopublication, that's down here, but up here in the provenance, you would attribute it to somebody else. And then in the publication info, you can add further elements. For example, you could have the example as template that will tell it it's an example nanopublication. You can do that if it's something you don't mean seriously, right? You don't want people to take this seriously. I could, for example, now publish this. I'll only publish it afterwards with a different example, but that could be a way to do that. You can also add custom triples here. You could also say it's an update or derived from another nanopublication. But here we can delete these again. Only this one will stay because this is what it is. This nanopublication, if you publish it here, it will be created by you. Now, one other thing I would like to show you, another way how to access these templates is if you go back here, you can click on this small icon here, this drop-down icon, and you can, for example, say comment. That's a very general thing to do that you have for all the nanopublications, for the ones that are your own or the ones that somebody else published. It will automatically fill in the URL of the nanopublication I've just clicked on, and now has my comment, and you can now write the comment here, right? And it's going to the same template, right? So that's actually a template you also find in the list I showed you before. But I don't actually want to do that now. Let's go back. What I can also do is retract, because this was my own nanopublication. This shows up. I can now retract this nanopublication. So that's kind of the closest it gets to delete something, because you cannot delete once you published. It's published in the sense as in academic publishing, right? So when you publish an article, once it's published, it's there. And even if you don't like it anymore, you cannot remove it. All you can do is retract. And that's the same thing that applies here. Because somebody might have your nanopublication in a data set, they might depend on it being public, being out there. So as soon as it's published, the only thing you can do is retract, and then it's probably gonna hidden in most views, because people are not interested in looking at things that don't hold anymore, but the original is still there. And there's a few more things. You could do update. That's of course very convenient. So then it takes the template you used before. You see this was now a really complicated template. In fact, there was a template to create a template itself. So I'm going to come back to that. Or you can also just derive it, edit as a derived nanopublication. That's something you can also do for others. So if we look now again, go back to this feed, somebody else has published that. So then you can only comment or edit as derived, and you can also approve or disapprove. So the same thing you could do for people, you can also do for nanopublication. I could say you approve it or you disapprove it. If you think there's something wrong with that, You can disapprove, and if you think this is right, or it has kind of a right to exist, then you can do approve. So you see, this is just a very basic first way of having some layer of trust and quality on top of the raw data. So these are the things you can do over there, but here there are many more templates you can just click on and fill in manually. So let's have a look at another one, announcing a paper that I've read. Here you can paste the DOI and then have a comment to it, and optionally, and you state that you have read that paper. So if people are doing that, you could automatically figure out which paper was read by whom and how often, etc. Now, let's actually publish something as a last thing for this video to show you how that what effect it has. So maybe you can do this one, defining a new class. That's actually something that happens quite often, right? That you have to refer to a class in a formal way, like an OWL class, and that doesn't exist yet because nobody has defined it yet. Right? For example, I might wanna describe the video that you're watching right now, and I might want to tell you what class it is, and I want to say, okay, it's a Nanopublication, a Nanobench tutorial video. Right? Okay, so that class doesn't exist yet, so I would have to define it somewhere, and how I can do that is with Nanobench, so with a Nanopublication. So I could give it a short suffix, so nanopub tutorial video. So that will show up as the suffix part of the URL, right? And the prefix part, or the part this is attached to, will be the identifier of the Nanopublication. That we don't know that yet because it has the hash, so this is still to be generated. So it's kind of just a video of a series of tutorials on Nanobench. And then we could here say it's a subclass of, let's see, we had it before already. There was like some class in Wikidata. Now is it a technique? No, it's rather video, a specific video. Okay, is related to, we might even, so here we could even have more than one, right? If you want to, but maybe we can find at least Nanopublications. I think that's on Wikidata as well. So there was even something I introduced in our Nanopublication, but that's not what I want to refer to. But here, now you could also here just paste any URI, right? You're not restricted to that. You could just you could type or paste any URL here. So this is just the autocomplete doesn't restrict you from adding anything you want. But now this I don't want to do. Now let's say, okay, that I attribute to myself. That's good. Here, it's actually fine. I don't necessarily need to mark it as an example. And so I'll leave it like that. One last thing I have to do is I have to click that, understand that this cannot be undone. It's published in an irrevocable way, and it will also be connected to my ORCID identifier. So I'm fine with that. I click on publish and everything goes well. You're going to see that. So that's here the final version of the application. You see it's also received a URI that includes that hash. It says it will shortly show up in your channel, because it might take a while, it might take a minute or so for it to distribute to different services. So as you see here now, it's not showing up yet. And I hope, unless we're really unlucky, no, it showed up here now already, right? So now I can see it. I can click on that to get some more information. I could click on that one to see it here. You see, this is now no longer in Nanobench. This is now in the server network. It's been published, and so here you can also see now that URL that was assigned to this Nanopub tutorial video. So our class now has a new URI that we can use, and when you actually use that, right? So it's just that one, the video URL with a hash. So it actually redirects to this. So it's now perfectly redirectable, resolvable resource. So that's what we have achieved. So we have published a Nanopublication with a Nanobench. One small thing I can mention that will point also to the next video. If you go back to maybe the same one, so defining a new class, right? So that was the template. Now the template itself, and I quickly mentioned that, is also an Nanopublication. So you can go here to this kind of upward pointing arrow symbol, and then you see the Nanopublication that describes the template. So it's quite a big one. But this is also just a Nanopublication. And we're going to look into in the next video how you can make your own templates. So if you maybe go to a simpler one, for example, the comment one was fairly simple. Where is the now again? It's not this one, it's this one. Commenting on something. So we can have a look at that one. So that's just one triple, right? So that's quite a bit easier, but still, this is what it needs to describe this this template. So that means in case you want to add your own template here, it's just about publishing a new Nanopublication. And you might have seen there's a template category here. So defining an insertion template is just another template, and you can fill it in. And then it's a little bit complex, but you have a number of options to do. But in the end, what you get is that you can it shows up in this list. You can click on it, you get a form, and everybody can fill it out, right? Not just you yourself, but everybody who has Nanobench installed. So that's what we're going to look into next in the next video, how we can adjust existing templates or make new ones from scratch so they show up here, so we and others can use them to gather data of whatever kind that is immediately accessible and represented in RDF. So that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you see you back in the next one. Bye-bye.